we're going to talk about is repeat business, which is the best source of cash flow. It is the cheapest source of cash flow. It is the free marketing team that you not only need, but it's the marketing team you deserve. So we're going to go through a whole stack of strategies where we're talking about, there we go, customer loyalty. About getting people to come back, buy from you again and again, so they only look at you as being their problem solver rather than constantly shopping you around, always looking at what your competitors are doing and then not coming back to you. And there's some really good reasons for that, and we'll go into those, but more about the strategies involved, about the fact that these are no cost or very low cost strategies. There's a couple there where, I think it's a good idea to spend a couple of dollars on these, but the bulk of them, it's all about process, attitude, systems, and just having a crack, being willing to have a go and do something a little different to generate that repeat business. So moving right along, here's the overview. Here's what we're going to really go through today. We're going to talk about doing more, about exceeding your customers' expectations, doing more than your competitors do. Because quite frankly, everybody gives good service, everybody's got a good product. It's what your customers expect, it's what they deserve, it is their right. But if you go above and beyond that, you win their hearts. Okay, if you exceed their expectations, they will come back. The reason for that, if you look at the research that's been done, is that 2/3 of people who buy from you again will spend about 2/3 more, 67% more. Now, there is a couple of reasons for that. One is that the first purchase is usually just a trial. It's just a one-off type of thing. So when they're coming back, they're getting more things off you because they've got more needs. But it's also the fact that when they come back to you, they're more comfortable to buy more from you. It's not that they've got a bigger need, it's that you passed the test. So now you get a bigger share of wallet, which is what we're after. Okay, you've won their heart. Now, we're not going to do this for 90 minutes. It's probably going to take about 45 to an hour. Going to rip right through a whole stack of strategies about how you can get these people coming back, and not only people coming back to you, get talking about you, get those word of mouth referrals. Because if you look at any marketing surveys that are done, you look at all the research on how people shop and how they research your product, is they rely more on what their friends, family, and complete strangers say than what an expert say. So you want to tap into that big resource, those friends, families, and complete strangers, which is pretty much everybody who's done business with you, and get them talking about how great you are, how you solve the problem, and how you're a person to do business with. Right? And as I said right at the beginning, it's not about spending money. Okay, it's about attitude, process, and just getting outside the box, be a little different, be a penguin in a duck pond. And we'll refer to the penguin a couple of times this morning. You really want to look in business. If you want to solve a problem, like you've got a need, and you look around and everybody's the same. Right? It's a whole bunch of ducks in a duck pond until you see the penguin. And even if you don't want a penguin, you go and check the penguin out because it's different. Okay, so do a little different. Okay, have the courage. Just step outside the box and don't imitate your competitors. Okay, now seriously, this is the big question. This is the one question you should always have in business: is why would your customer talk about you in a positive way? Okay, don't be vanilla. Okay, vanilla's a milkshake. It's an ice cream flavour. Like seriously, provide a customer experience that people talk about. Have people walk out of your business going, well, that was different, that was good, love that, and they tell their friends about it. And when they've got a problem, they come back to you because the first time made it worthwhile. Okay, it wasn't a turn-off, right? And it's everyday habits, right? Just little things. The way you greet your customers and talk with them. Like, don't talk at them. Right? We've all experienced that. It's just wrong. It's just so wrong. Don't do it. Okay, talk to the customers, have a conversation. And I'll go into that in detail later about some of the ways you want to approach that. Your uniforms. Okay, if you're in a business where you provide a staff uniform, step outside the box a little bit. Now, I don't mean dress everybody up in penguin onesies. Okay, maybe once a year for the staff birthday or something. But seriously, your uniforms, don't be bland. Anybody and everybody can be bland. Step outside the box a little bit. Dare to be different. Okay, your store layout, and not just your physical store, but your online store. How easy is it to do business with you? How simple is it? And I'll talk more about simple later. Simple is important, easy is important. Client education, after-sales support. These areas in your business will bring people back if you get it right. And it's not about spending the money. It's about having the courage to do things a little differently, to do things better, to outperform your competitors in the areas that really, really count to your customers. Now, the first thing, and I spoke a bit about this yesterday, you're going to really push it now, is understand the business you're in. Right. Now, there's a lot of talk about understanding your ideal client. That's fine. That's a chat for another day. What we're talking about today is understanding what it is that you truly do. Now, I've got an example there on the slide for you. This is a real client of ours, literally 500 metres from my office back in Ipswich. They set their business through the roof because they changed their approach from we're here to do cut and colour and curl to it's all about self-esteem. They figured out that the reason people came to them is when they walk out the door, they felt like $1 million. So they changed the whole focus. Everybody's focus was on making the client feel special. That was it. Whatever it was that they were there for, we're going to make them feel special. And suddenly they've got more accessories for sale because people wanted to do business with them, wanted them to stock their product. The sale of their product, like their shampoos, all the stuff women put in their hair, the accessories went through the roof because people wanted to do business with it because they felt special. So take time to evaluate what business you're really in. Okay, what is it that you actually do? All right, because if you get that right, okay, if you align everything to it, you will win. Right? It's all about knowing where you're at and what you're doing. Now, don't forget to value your customers, and we'll talk about this again and again. It's a simple thing, it's an obvious thing, and sometimes we forget. Right? So when you value, look, think of names, milestones. Remember their name, the guys that keep coming back. Okay, remember their preferences, so they know that you actually care about them, that they're not just another number. Okay, because 70% of customers feel undervalued. Right? And if they feel undervalued, they don't come back. They don't come back and not spending money with you. They're spending it with your competitors, which weakens your position. Right? That 70% is a huge opportunity because the fact is that that's 70% of your competitors' customers. Right? 2/3 of your competitors' customers don't feel valued. So how about you start valuing your customers, like really truly valuing them, so they spread the word, which then attracts your competitors' customers, right? And follow up. Not just diarise stuff, milestones, things that are important to your clients, not on a sales basis, but on a how you're going basis. Like just touch base, let them know that you care about them. How are things going? Sweet, moving on. Don't oversell, right? And I'll touch on that again and again and again. Don't oversell, don't get salesy, don't shove things down people's throats. Make it all about them. Right? And this is why, like Seth Godin, he's a real thought leader. Check him out he's got a stack of stuff on YouTube, very smart guy, and this is the truth, right? This is absolute gold. Because people don't buy your goods and your services. What they buy is the relationship with you, that magic of doing business with you. Okay, it can just be a small thing. It doesn't have to be a major purchase, but make it special because that's what they're there for. Right? And again, that will come up again and again and again. Important events, okay? And the one thing I want you to get out of this is the little things that are different, okay? The handwritten card. Yes, here's one thing, sorry, it's going to cost you a couple of bucks and a little bit of your time. But the payoff, the return on investment is enormous because nobody sends hand cards these days. It's all email, it's all text, it's all a quick video call. Handwritten card in the mail is gold, absolute gold. If you want people to feel valued, you go that extra mile and show them you actually really care, okay? Small gifts for really loyal VIP clients. They will talk about it, okay? So you've got somebody who's come back, reinforce the relationship. Never assume that they're going to come back tomorrow. Do not take them for granted, okay? First access to product lines. I'll just let that sit there for a second because I'm going to talk a lot about that later, okay? But that is a very powerful tool, right? But the bottom line is treat people the way you want to be treated, okay? Talk with them the way you want to be talked with, the way you would talk with your family, the way you would talk with your friends, okay? Because that's really who and what they are. Okay? Now, product knowledge, and this is key. People buy from people they trust. They do business with people they trust. If you want people to trust you, give them some education for free. Let them in, let them belong a little bit to your club, okay? And it's not so much what your product and service is made of, it's how it solves their problem. Because remember, it's not the product that counts. People don't care about the product, it's what it does. That's how it improves their world. And when you're doing that, don't assume they know everything about it because you could be wrong. And if you're going to value the customer, assume they don't know everything and tell them all about it. Okay, I mean, there are ways of doing that without being an over-the-top salesperson. Okay, because when you're sharing with people like that, they'll become advocates. I've seen it happen so many times. It's just not funny anymore. It's just, yep, we knew that would happen. We expected that. It's not a surprise. Okay, you brought them in. We shared with them how it works. You actually took the time to educate them so they knew what it was they were getting into, rather than just saying, yep, this will do the job and send them out the door. Okay, that extra effort you go to value them is absolute gold. Now, when it comes to that, in terms of understanding where they're at, so you can provide them with the education they need, just use simple questions, okay? How and why they're going to be using what you provide, so that you can actually give a simple answer to how it all works, right? And simple is something I'll build in a second, I can tell you. Educational material, okay? Make it easy to get to. Video is king. All right. You will see that time and again on every marketing channel on YouTube. Video is king. 80% of people would rather watch a video than read something because it's easy. So use your website, have videos on there. Use your YouTube channel, your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook page. Use TikTok, Insta. Use video. Don't forget to subtitle it, because it is a super powerful sales tool, even if all you're doing is providing education. Okay, give. Give the education, subtitle it so it's nice and easy to understand, and watch the results roll in. And I'll give you a real live example of that as well. We've got a client, spoke to him beginning of last year at a business breakfast, and we were actually talking about, among other things, video, about how powerful it is. And this guy polishes floors for a living, okay? Got a floor polishing business, and he liked the idea, but super shy, not polished at all. Pardon the pun. But he was really quite nervous about it. And what we said to him was, listen, mate, just give it a crack. Just do a before and after video of the floor. That's all you need to do. You can stick your head in it. You cannot stick your head in it. It doesn't matter. But give people an overview of what you do and the results you create and the magic of doing business with you. And so he went out, and his first couple were just very simple. Went through a room. This is what it's like before. This is the type of timber involved. This is what we're going to do. And then showed the job afterwards. Gold. Absolute gold. Suddenly the bookings start ticking up. And this guy, we said, look, don't rehearse it, just do it. Keep it real so people know that what they see is what they get. Okay, there's no artifice, there's nothing hidden. And that's what he did. And suddenly this guy's working 6 or 7 days a week. Then he did a video with his brand new Italian floor polishing machine showing how it's dustless. And I must admit, when I saw the intro, I'm thinking, dustless, mate. Everything I've seen about floor polishers, you've got to cover the furniture, drag stuff out, open the windows. It's ridiculous. No. Dustless. Amazing. Suddenly he's going 7 days a week. He didn't even get a day off for months. In fact, he stopped doing video for a while because he actually wanted to back the bookings down. He was so busy. His business boomed. So video, super powerful. Have a crack. You do not have to be Scorsese or De Niro or anybody like that. Just have a go. Be yourself, tell your story. Let's see what happens. You'll be amazed. Now, this is why we're in business. You're there to solve a problem. Okay. Now, nobody wants to be sold to, but we hate it. Okay. You've got something you want fixed. This is what I want done. Then give me the solution. Okay. So just sell what they require. That's all you need to do is provide the solution. Provide it in a way that is simple. They understand. Don't do the upsell thing. Okay, the McDonald's, do you want fries and a Coke with that? Like, people see it coming my way, it is a turn off. Right? What sells fine? Okay, if when we're going through and discovering what their need really is and what the problem really is, if there's extra stuff they need to fix, or if there's another problem they're coming down the track that you can solve now, go for it. Okay, it's all about valuing the customer and showing them that you've got their best interest in heart. But if you can't solve their problem, tell them you can't. Like, it's all about trust and loyalty, okay? If you want to build trust and loyalty, don't oversell, don't upsell, and if you can't do it, say you can't do it, tell them why, and try and find the answer. It's all about long-term value. Right? That's what this whole thing is about today, about building long-term value in your business. Okay, it's not picking up an extra $5 today or $10 tomorrow. It's about long-term value. It's a long game. Okay, don't prejudge. Okay, another trick, especially I found this with some of my younger team members back in when we had lots of staff, it was just don't do it. I don't care what they look like when they walk in. I don't care what their background is. I don't care gender, color, race, creed, whether they like fried eggs for breakfast, it doesn't matter. Take a breath for a second, talk with them, find out what the problem is and fix it, okay? There are so many examples of salespeople prejudging and blowing sales out the water. Don't do it, okay? Don't do it, okay? And this is why, like Mary Kay Ash, in case you don't know, massive cosmetics business, obviously based out of the States with a name like Mary Kay Ash. And this is her basic thesis, is that just treat people as if they want to be, make them feel important. You do that from a business point of view, and you're going to win, and they will come back. Now, follow up. Always really key in a sales process, because that initial contact, if you're waiting for the prospect to come back to you, nine times out of 10 they won't. We know that. You've got to follow them up because everybody is busy and there are a lot of competing interests for their attention. So follow up, but it's not the pre-sales follow-up I'm talking about, it's the post-sales follow-up, okay? Post-purchase regret is a real thing, especially with major purchases. So if you're doing something along those lines, don't forget to follow up after the sale and make sure that you solve the problem, okay? And that's it. Answer any questions they've got, sort the issues out, but show them that you value the transaction. Right? You want to stand out from the crowd, do this, because nobody does it. I can tell you that because I've made a number of significant purchases over the last 30 odd years. I can count on one hand the number of times I've had any sort of follow-up after the purchase. Seriously. That's houses, cars, electrics, businesses, the whole thing. Count them on one hand. Do it and you'll get that. You'll get that advocate. You'll get people who talk about that after-sales service that nobody else offers. Right? And key to that, exactly relates back to an earlier slide, is if you don't know, say so. Okay. People want that loyalty. They want that truth, that trust, and they want you to be open and transparent. Okay, so if you haven't got the answer, say so. If you think you can find out, then go that extra mile for them and deliver. Right? It's going to surprise the hell out of your customers, I guarantee you. Okay. Now, this is somewhere where we are going to spend, oops, hang on, I'll just get my face out of the way. Here we go. We are going to spend a couple of dollars here if this is a road you want to go down. But these events are gold, okay? Being there is not just that you're not just showing you value the customers, you're creating a club. Now, people want to belong to things, okay? It's a human instinct to belong, very tribal. So by bringing them into something like that, you're creating that club. And that, again, builds that long-term loyalty, that advocacy, because they've got something that their friends haven't got. Okay, and it can be just simple. I guess speaking from industry, talking about something new. Now, one thing that I've got at the bottom of the slide there, this is key. If you're going to remind people and keep them up to date with what's going on, then use text, SMS, all right? That will get a far higher engagement rate than anything else. Email is great, but text kills it. Messenger with Facebook and Instagram is actually better than email even. Emails are too easy to ignore, but text is king in this regard. Now, yeah, we love our customers. That's going to be your underlying emotion, right? You've got to love them, right? Good, bad, or left-handed, it doesn't matter. Okay, love your customers and it will come back to you. Consistency. Now, systems and processes, I spoke a lot about this yesterday. This is key to any business. Okay, it's the foundation for success because you want to repeat the stuff that works and you want to make it easy to teach people how to do the stuff that works so they can repeat it so it works. Okay, so when you've got a process that works in the business, a tactic, a strategy, you've got something that produces the results, systemize it, document how it works so that you can repeat it consistently. You can get that excellent experience for your customers. They can do it again and again. It makes it easier to train staff. It gives them confidence because they know what they're supposed to do and they know that what they're doing will work. So they do it, okay? You do this, you provide that excellent experience for your customers every time, you're going to finish up miles in front, okay? Now, there's another benefit here with this, just while we're on the topic of systems and processes. It's not just the customer experience. It's not just the day-to-day operations of the business. At some point in time, you are going to want to exit the business and go into another one, retire, build houses, whatever. Okay. When it comes time to exit, when you've got documented systems and processes that work and deliver the results that you've been getting, the incoming purchaser has confidence. It makes it much easier to sell rather than just saying, hey, we kind of do things this way. When it comes to repeating things in the areas of compliance, it's much easier if you have it all documented. So systems, process, documentation. Now, emotions. Business is all about the numbers. I spoke about this 2 days ago when we were talking about the drivers of cash flow, like how to actually generate more cash out of your business without spending money. And the numbers are great because you need the data to make good decisions. Right? You've got to know what's going on there. But if you don't engage with people, if you don't have that magic, you're not going to generate any numbers at all. Okay? Because whilst it's all about business, it's personal. My business is always personal. There's none of this game face stuff. It's all about how people feel when they do business with you, when they walk in the door, and then when they walk back out again. That is what counts. Right? So you think about it. Right? How do you want your customers to feel when they walk in the door? Like really, what is it? What sort of emotions do you want to engage with them? And how do you want them to feel when they're transacting with you? And how do you want them to feel when they walk out the door? Now, if you're struggling with that, try asking them. Right? You'll be surprised, I suspect, at some of the answers you get. But that again comes back to how people want to be dealt with, how you build long-term loyalty, how you get them to advocate for you, how you want them out there talking about you. So think about the emotional side of the business. It doesn't cost anything to implement that. It's just a matter of focus, right? Changing habits. Okay. Now, feedback, and this is where we flow from that into finding out what customers think about you and how you can improve the business. Now, everybody knows about Google reviews, which in my mind is a bit of a mixed beast. It's obviously very widespread. I don't think it's terribly well moderated. And if there's a fake review on there, there's a little bit of a process you have to go through to get rid of it, and they can hurt because a lot of people rely on Google reviews. So my approach is, okay, when it comes to customer engagement, is you want to know what the experience was like with them and you want to know how to improve. So talk to your customers, one-on-one group events, surveys, they all work. I prefer one-on-one because you're going to get a more honest opinion. But the beauty of group events is that you get a bit of a feedback going. People sometimes spark up a thought in somebody else, and surveys are nice and structured. But again, you're not necessarily going to get everything out of them. When it comes to reviews, don't rely on Google reviews. Okay, get an online review system such as Trustpilot or Yotpo. So you're asking for the review, you're getting the answers to the questions you need to know about, and then respond and follow up to those reviews. And at the same time, check for the fakes, especially on Google. If you're copying fake reviews, there are businesses such as Removify that can go into bat for you and get rid of them. Because trust me, you want to get rid of them. Right? You know that. Kill them. Okay. Don't forget when you're following up the review, just thank people for taking time to respond. Right? A simple process. If there's something in there where there's an issue, then get back to them. Deal with it. Don't put out a canned response because people will hammer that. It's a negative thing, okay? And to be honest, with some of the negative stuff you get, with some of the feedback that's not super positive, it doesn't matter that you can't implement their ideas because sometimes some things aren't possible. You don't have the resources to do them, okay? Nor would you want to do some of them because they'd be detrimental to the business. That's fine. Still engage with them. If you can't do it, just let them know in broad terms why that's not possible, but always thank them for the feedback, engage with them, and then move on. Now, I mentioned simple early. We live in a very complex world. It is not getting any simpler. Okay, so simplicity is valuable. That's gold. Now, it's not easy to achieve simplicity in your business. Really, it's not. It takes effort, it takes commitment, it takes real willpower and focus. But it can transform your business. It can give you market leadership if you make doing business with you easy. If you make using your product or your service simple, right? iPhone, hello, okay? You look at what an iPhone is, and you think about when it first came out, it took a lot of them into a super complex machine and then put a simple interface over the top of it. Boom, market leadership. Now, iPhones now are not the biggest selling phone in the world, but they make an absolute monster out of them because they made it simple. So they made it easy for the customer. Is there something you can take out of your process? Can you get rid of jargon? Right? As it says, I hate jargon. Okay, it's weaponizing words. It's showing that you're smarter than everybody else 9 times out of 10. Hate it. Okay? Can you break it down in a nice, easy to understand without having to think too hard about it, how to use your solution? Okay? You're at material from a customer's viewpoint. Ask the customers, how easy is it to understand it? How can we improve this? Sometimes it's not always take it out and strip it back. It really isn't. Sometimes you've actually got to add stuff in to make it simple or easy for your customer to implement your solutions. Personal example of that, recently I bought some studio lights for the studio at home. Beautiful little thing. Turned up in a nice big fat box, got a bag, got this, got that, happy days. But of course they're all in bits, aren't they? There's a stand, there's lights, there's power packs, there's this, there's that. The stand themselves came in 3 pieces. So, okay, or maybe I'm not the typical male, but I pulled out the instruction booklet and said, okay, how do these things go together? Now, I'm not stupid. My wife is a long way from stupid. And we're don't make any sense. They literally, if you followed the instruction manual, you couldn't put it together. Now, they're fine. They're put together the right way. It's all working. But that manual, they'd gone so simple with it that they'd actually failed to show how to put the lights together. Dumb. Okay, it would have been easier to have something a little bit bigger, just use twice as much paper, right, and be more precise about what goes where and how. Okay. So there's my idea for my lights, guys. Okay, make your instructions more wordy. Right. Now, know when to stop talking, and this is one I get picked up on this a lot, especially when I was younger. It's that because I'm a problem solver. Okay, I love to dive in, fix things, and add value, and that drive and excitement has actually cost me sales in the past. It can be fatal, really. You talk people in and you talk them out, okay? Listen more, okay? Find out what's really important to the client. It's the 30-70 rule, right? One mouth, two, my parents, my God, my parents, if I heard this one more time, one mouth, 2 ears, use them in that proportion, right? Stop talking. Listen. See what your client has to say. Use some open-ended questions to draw out where the issue really is, what the problem really is, what they think the solution might be. Okay, that could be right. It may not be, but you know, until you ask, you don't know. And let them do the talking. And that 30% talk, 70% listen, I would suggest, respectfully, that the 30% talk is not all at the start. Okay, open them up, listen and listen, listen, and then provide some solutions at the end. Okay. It's all about valuing the customer, right? Their opinion actually counts more than yours, even if they don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't matter, okay? Now, complaints. Talking earlier about the review system, 4% of people in Australia will complain to you personally, face-to-face. The rest of them, that 96% of your complaints are going to go online. And the reason is that to do it personally is uncomfortable. That's confrontational. Do it online. Hey, that's anonymous. That's easy. Oh my goodness, and they never come back. Okay. Now what that is a massive opportunity to build customer loyalty and potentially get a powerful advocate for you if you go in there, fix the problem. Okay, see what the customer thinks about the solution. All right. Listen to what they've got to say. Don't justify what happens. Whatever you do, don't justify what happens. Just fix the problem. And if you can't fix it, say so. Right? Tell them why it went sideways. Tell them why their problems can't be solved, and then move on. Now, one thing that I discovered here pretty early in business was that it's better if I empower my team to fix problems within certain limits than to try and fix everything myself. It's blindingly obvious when you think about it. It's just smart business, okay? You don't hire people so you can go and do their job for them. If you empower your team to fix complaints, then yeah, a couple of times it cost me some money because they simply solved things and spent some of my cash doing it. That's fine. I blinked a little bit, and I realised that was cheaper than having the customer going around telling everybody what a crap business we had and what horrible people we were and how it didn't work and blah, 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 blah. Don't need any of that. Fix the problem. They spend a few bucks. End of the day, that's fine because that issue is neutralised. And in our book, that was a win. Okay, we came out ahead. Happy days. And I had happy staff who knew that when there was an issue that they could solve within certain parameters, that if they solved it in a way that they saw fit that fixed the problem, that I was happy. There was no comeback on them. It wasn't you have to fix it in a certain way. It's a case of, here's the parameters I want stuff done within, go for it. And that gave them confidence to do business, which actually made us more money. And funnily enough, reduced their complaint levels because they made less mistakes. They were happier people. And I'll talk about that in a sec too. Here's the underlying thought. This is what we're trying to produce: memorable customer service, something that's exceptional again and again and again. Okay. Now, this is just really a summary of what was spoken about for the last 20 odd minutes. Okay. It's about making the service memorable. It's about giving them a reason to come back, and it's about making that repeatable, doing it time and again. It just comes down to understanding your customer. What's important to them? How can you solve their problem without shoving stuff down their throat? Okay, just take a minute, solve it, move on. Okay, and what you'll find out of that is you'll get additional opportunities. It'll happen. That's the way business works. Okay, and it's listening. Okay, it's not just listening; it's understanding. It's letting them. It's not just understanding what they're talking about. It's letting them know that you understand. Okay, paraphrase what they've said and feed it back to them. Use their words, right? Paraphrasing, especially the trigger words where they're frustrated with something. Okay, they're worried, they're just annoyed. Feed it back to them. Once they know that you understand them, you've got that acknowledgement from them that they get, yes, you get it. Yes, I get it. Okay, here's the solution. Okay, this is got to be one of the easiest ways I've ever come across about showing customers you value them, that you know they're important, but not only that you know they're important, you're letting them know that you know they're important. Okay, we spent a lot of time with our team members hammering this, actually getting them into the habit of letting the customer know they understood and getting the acknowledgement from the customer that they knew that we understood the problem and that we had the solution. And once you've got that, then what they're doing when they acknowledge that you understand them is they're giving you permission then to move forward and provide the solution. If you try and solve it before they feel you understand them, you're just making life hard for yourself. Okay, and you're putting a bit of a fracture in that relationship. Okay, so this, another key plank, doesn't cost you a cent. It's simply procedure and process. It's a way of doing business every time. Now, this is super key. Okay. Going back to what Seth Godin said, they're not there for what you sell, they're there for the magic, the relationship. No one gives a rip about your purple widget. No one cares. What they care about is what your purple widget will do for them, right? How it solves their problem. So rock their world by realizing that they don't care about you, they just want their problem solved. Show them how you're going to solve their problem. But it's just a means to an end. Okay? No one's going to put your product on a pedestal. What they'll talk about is the solution. Okay? Now, humour. I'll talk about humour. I'll get back to a happy workplace in a sec, okay? Because I'm a big fan of a happy workplace. But make your customers smile, because like, the world isn't necessarily a happy place all the time. You know, hello 2020, okay? Make your customers smile, okay? It builds a relationship, it breaks down barriers. People remember it. Even if you've got the worst dad jokes in the world, okay? And I've got about 705,000 of them, which I'll tell anybody, okay? They'll remember it, okay? Don't be afraid to stand out. That's the underlying thing, okay? Penguin, duck pond. If you're there telling bad jokes, they will remember you and they'll talk about you, generally positively, okay? Because nobody does it. Like, everyone's so serious these days. Make them smile, bring some humour into the interaction, okay? It's just a smart way of doing business. If you want to be remembered, add some humour, okay? Explain your secret sauce. Earlier about customer events, about including people in your tribe, okay, letting them in on some of the secrets. People want to belong. They want to be part of something. Everybody has something unique in their business, some special way of what they do, how they solve problems. Very rarely do we explain that to a customer. We generally listen to what they've got to say, find out what the issue is, and we fix it. Okay, sell them something that'll take care of the problem. We don't explain how and why that's a really good thing. And I touched on it earlier. It's not just providing inclusiveness, it's providing customers with a story to tell, something to share. And what they're doing when they do that, they go out and share these stories about how you took the time to educate them, how you let them into some of the secrets in the business. They're advocating for you. Well, they're actually marketing your business, selling you. And they paid you to have the opportunity to be part of your marketing team. When you think about it, that's actually pretty cool. Right? So include people, bring them into the business a little bit. It doesn't have to be a 1 hour education session. It can just be a couple of minutes in conversation, like doing business, explaining why they're doing business with you. Okay. And really about the first access. Now this is interesting in a couple of industries that I work with where we've got innovations coming out, or we've actually got one guy, a client of mine, who manufactures parts for trucks and road and transport and bits and pieces. When they have something new coming out, what they do is they invite their VLP clients to come along and have first access. Okay? When one of their suppliers has something new coming down the line, they don't put out a buy now special thing. What they do is they have an event, they get the rep to come in with their VLP customers and explain what the new product is, why it's going to rock their world, and why it's a better solution than the old product. Now, these events are not sales events. No, they're educational events, full stop. All right. Now, no strings attached, they're free. In fact, one guy I work with puts on, not one, it's more beer and sausage for him, but that's cool because it works. Okay, that's his client base. That's perfect. And he gets repeat business again and again and again. They do sales on the day if they are asked, but it is very clear that this is simply an educational evening. All right. You're probably going to spend some money here. I would apologise, except I'm not sorry, because the payoff is huge. All right. It's about valuing your customer. Even if they don't buy anything, they will talk about it. Okay. The phone. Now, we live in a world now where a lot of phone, well, not many people use phone. They prefer to communicate nice and non-confrontationally via the keyboard. Sorry. And when they do ring you, they tend to go through, I do now a lot of businesses, you go through basically a computerized phone system that sorts your phone call into the different areas where it has to go. But at some stage, when you ring, a human will pick up the phone. And there's an opportunity to really add value by simply making the way you answer the phone different. Okay, now, again, we trained our staff this way, is that when the phone rings, you go to pick the phone up, look away from the computer. I've got their closest screen. Well, sometimes you can't do that, and it takes more time than it's worth. That's fine. Just look away from the computer. Focus on the phone. Smile, because it's really weird, but when you're smiling, the person on the other end knows. I don't know how that works. Right? I'm sure there is somebody with 3 degrees who can tell me, but it works. And suddenly the interaction is a happy. You just lifted the tone of the interaction. Okay, and be enthusiastic when you answer the phone. Okay? Be keen. It's a chance to do business with your customers. It's a chance to show them you value them. It's a chance to add value to everything you do. Okay, and be a little brave with the tagline. Now, I know sometimes that's just not possible. Okay, but think about it. Consider it. Okay, can you just spark it up a little bit? I must admit, at times I have answered the phone, Mission Control. You've got the NASA head astronaut, and that makes the person on the other end pause and think, "Hey, what circus have they called?" But it certainly does set the tone for an interesting conversation. Now, I don't do that anymore because I do a lot of my stuff by text. But think about how, just from a business point of view, you can answer the phone a little differently. Okay, because really, it's the first point of contact for a big chunk of your customers. Okay, so the chance to impress, it's a chance to open people up, throw a bit of humour into the interaction, make it on a positive start, positive footing. Have a go, be different. All right, you want to be different. You want to be the penguin. All right, don't be a duck. Handwritten notes. I spoke about this earlier. It's simply a way of adding that personal touch to build connection. Paper, ink, envelope, stamp. It's simple, super simple. Have a crack. Okay, a few dollars, but it might be such an impact. So consider that when it comes time to acknowledging milestones, thanking people, letting them know about something coming up you want them to come along to, make it personal. Okay, add your flavour to it. If your handwriting is anything like mine, maybe get somebody else to write the note, then you sign it, but make it handwritten. Now, I spoke a bit about this yesterday in the stages of business in terms of how you build and how you resource your business. Okay, there are times people will come to you, and they come to me a lot with questions that I can't answer. Okay, there's a lot of stuff. Funnily enough, there is a lot of stuff I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, there's a lot of things I'm not. But what I have got is a very cool thin black book with names and numbers under certain categories. A couple of names in each category. Okay, I don't have 52 accountants on speed dial. I have 2 that I trust, depending on the size of your business and where you're located. Okay, same with solicitors, same with surveyors, same with car dealers, same with a whole heap of things. All right, some people that we've done business with in the past, or we do business with a lot of our clients, we know what they're like, we trust them, and importantly, there is a framework for how the referrals are routed. So if I send somebody to a commercial lawyer, I know what's going to happen at the other end, and I know if there's an issue, I'll get feedback before the customer comes back to me. I'll know well beforehand that something hasn't gone particularly straight. Okay. Now that adds value to the relationship you have with your customers. If they know that you have resources you can solve other problems, and that those problems get solved properly, suddenly you've got another string to your bow. They've got another reason to talk about you, and there's your marketing team out working for you again. All right, now, there is no game face here. There's no media personality. I'm like this pretty much 24/7 unless I'm asleep. Okay, I don't have a business persona, and neither should you, quite frankly. You really, you've got to keep it real. We spoke about that in the video slide. People deal with people they can trust. Okay, and if they can trust when they're dealing with you, they're dealing with the real you. They will come back. If they think they're dealing with something fake or something put on, you're gonna hurt your chances. You really are. It's been shown time and again. So just talk with people the way you talk with your family and friends. Okay, don't be afraid to let your personality loose, because people do business with you, with the magic, the relationship. Okay, that's why they're there. They're not there for your purple widget. Okay, it's the relationship. It's the problem solving. Right, the widget solves the problem, but it's not that important. Okay, so be yourself. Okay, now, this is a pricing strategy more than anything. Okay, don't build your business on customers who always shop your price. Make those the foundation you chase. All right, explain to them why your products and services are worth more than competition. Now, if you scan back a few slides, you'll get to the one which says explain your secret sauce. Okay, and this is why. Okay, what you're doing is you're showing people why you are worth what you charge. Okay, it gives you a chance to explain your differences and to spell out the risks of buying cheap. Now, there are ways of doing this without denigrating your competition. Okay, you don't need to do that. You simply need to explain why your solution is the best solution. Okay? Now, you're going to get customers that shop on price. Don't become a commodity. Okay, there is no long-term value in being a commoditized business. So explain why you're worth what you're worth. And one way of doing that is through rewards rather than discounting. People want to knock your price down. No, bundle. Okay, so okay, you want that one for 20. Well, so what? How about you just pay the 30? We'll give you another one for 15. All right, that's a cash flow trick. It's a good way to build sales. Sometimes you'll do discounts for value clients or for bulk buys, and that's fine. But don't shift their buying patterns if you can avoid it. Okay, and what you do, if you're offering rewards for customers, just small rewards, okay, loyalty cards and stuff, well, loyalty cards, there's the trigger, okay, there's the word. That's what you want. You want people coming back, and if you're constantly discounting, they're coming back for the wrong reasons. So avoid the trap, go the reward side, go bundle, add value to the relationship, and you will win. Okay. Now, I'm not kidding us by thinking this is going to be easier. I'm not going to tell you this is just a walk in the park. It'll be tough, because what you're talking about is changing habits in yourself, in your business, in your team. Okay, and sometimes changing habits in your customers and in your suppliers. Okay, but when you decide what your brand is and you make that the focus, okay, changing habits will become easier because you're focused on the one thing. You're evaluating everything on that one thing. That's what it's all about. And the rest of it will just flow because you've got that focus. Okay. Now, here's an opportunity to be a little different, is to be the industry expert. Now, you're not going to do that after 5 minutes in business, although I have seen some people try. That's kind of cute. Not very effective, but kind of cute. But make your website and go to one in the industry. Okay, get that expertise out for people to see. Again, you're being inclusive, you're sharing knowledge, so people are making informed decisions, so they value you more. They will come back and hello, there's your repeat customer, there's your industry advocate. You're building trust by sharing your expertise. Okay, because as I've said before, people do business with people they trust. Okay. And internal happiness, to this a little while ago when I was talking about the humour in your client interactions. Now, humour doesn't mean being a total smart person. It's more about understanding that life is too serious and you've got to look on the sunny side. Have humour inside the business and have that happy, positive workplace. You're going to boost productivity. These points are proven time and again. Boost productivity. People aren't afraid to make mistakes, and they make less mistakes. I can tell you that from personal experience. When we made the place happier, when we gave them power to fix things, they made less things there was less things they were fixing. Okay, and instead of me knowing about it, from people complaining, they just fixed it. They made better decisions. They turned up to work more. Okay, our sick leave went down. Not that we had a massive sick leave problem, but we actually saw it drop when the place got happier because people were happier to come to work. Okay? It's not a terribly fabulous place most days of the week. Okay, so make the workplace a happy environment, and it'll be noticed and talked about, especially by your customers. Maybe more than one customer has come and says, "Listen, we love walking in here because everyone's so happy," and they come back and they talk about you, and there's your unpaid marketing team at work yet again. Happy days, literally. Okay, there's my contact details. Right, feel free to get in touch by email, phone, text. Okay, because what we can talk about then is solutions that are specific to your business. We can work through where you're at, come up with some strategies that deliver value for you. Okay, and that's what this is all about. It's about taking you from this level to this level with some simple strategy, stuff that doesn't have to cost any money, just a little bit of change, a little bit of focus, a little bit of understanding what's really going on in the customer-business relationship, that interface. Okay, so thank you for your time. If you're watching this on record, by all means, please send me a note and we'll go through where you're at and how we can make things better for you. Cheers.